So,
Alrighty. Well, we're gonna get started. Let me. Okay, we'll just hop right in. And there we go. Okay. So, spring equinox is around the corner. And so, kind of playing off of the winter solstice group session that we had when we talked about what are we planting? What is our garden? What is our intention for this year? This week, I'm actually going to grab a piece of paper real fast. This now spring equinox is really all about really coming for and creating and allowing for that birthing, that creation, that femininity, that healer. So with the story of Eostre, she is the spring goddess, and Eostre found a little bird as she was walking through a very frozen winter forest. And she found this little bird, and it was half frozen. And she breathed new breath into it and turned it into a rabbit so that it didn't have to fly anymore. It could hop around. And that is why the Easter Bunny lays eggs, because it was once a bird, but because it could not have its wing back, she transformed it into a rabbit so that it would continue to give life and have life, but didn't need to fly anymore. And so that's why the Easter Bunny lays eggs, because it was once a bird. So for me, spring equinox is always about really getting more in connection with our gifts. What gifts are kind of being hidden, or what aspects are really no longer serving us? Like that little bird, its wing was frozen, it was no longer going to serve it. So it transformed and got transformed into a rabbit. And so, kind of like us, what's no longer serving us? So I really want to pose some questions, especially as we prepare for spring equinox. I would love, spring equinox is also a lot about connecting with the elementals, the fairies, the flowers, the nature aspects, and really kind of creating that magic. So I would love to talk about ritual creation and what rituals do you use? What rituals, let me exit out of it. What rituals have you done in the past? Do you do rituals? And for those who maybe are going to chime in later into the session or are going to watch the recording, I would love to hear about these insights in the Magical Mothering group, either the big group, and we can start a big conversation about it and see all these, you know, what a lot of the women do as far as rituals, and then also in the private group, just for this group, for more specifics. So, Diana, as I kind of, I'm going to ask, there we go. As I kind of ask these aspects, what comes to mind for you as far as maybe rituals that need to be started, or things that are no longer serving you that maybe need to be transformed, or gifts that maybe are kind of on the back burner right now that need to be integrated? So, any one of those.
well, I'm kind of going into my gifts right now. So, I don't feel, well, I'm coming into my gifts. So I know that's a positive right there. And I'm using them almost every day. So, and then I did my first workshop. So that was really good. It had some glitches, but I know how to fix them. I'm going to fix them. And my
Technology
rituals,
does.
oh, yeah. And so my rituals, I need, now that I can start going outside, I need to start going to my tree and sitting there and becoming one and finding my center. And I also need to get back into my meditating, which I had a session today with someone that did a session for me. So we traded. And so I felt really good. And I realized I really need to count on other people as well
Right.
to, help with that. Sorry. Son came home.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so ritual creation is something that is really, really profound. And I find that when we have these big equinoxes or solstices and have rituals around them, or things that we do every year or every seasonal festival, and it spirals around and we revisit these aspects, time and time again, they become stronger, and soon we start really looking forward to those aspects. So I absolutely love that. I would love, so in this aspect of planting seeds, have you kind of thought about seeds that you would like to plant more of, so that come autumn equinox, when we're doing this and creating space for connecting, what is it that you want to plant seeds for now, so that you'll be harvesting at the end of this year?
As in plants or as in my life?
In your life.
Okay. The seeds I'm planting right now are the seeds for my workshops. I found that this is going to be where I make my money. And that way I can still work with other people who can't afford it. And that way I'm still making my money.
Right.
And so I'm planting the seeds to, by autumn, I'm going to finish the workshop, and I would like to keep doing it every year. And so that's what I'm putting myself into, throwing myself into that.
Yeah. And I know we had talked about, now that spring is here, come May, there's going to be farmers markets opening up. And
I'm more open to that.
yes. And so this is not just for, like I said, for those who are going to be watching the recording, getting out and really getting into a space, especially this year when people are so hungry for connection. There is such a need for real interaction. And so people are going to be showing up at places, and I'm even noticing it. People are showing up at places just really needing to connect. And so creating either, a single chakra healing or a single chakra balancing that you can do in 10-15 minutes at and get $20 or $25 at a farmer's market for people coming by would be really impactful.
Oh yeah. And now that I have gotten my feet wet and I've been doing it for a year, it wouldn't scare me at all to go out and do that.
Right.
So yeah, that's when in the farmer's market's right behind my house.
Right.
So I'll go out there and yeah.
And so I'm thinking, there's this aspect of when, I'm going back to the experience of actually like digging up the earth last year when we got to the Midwest, and how difficult that was, breaking through the sod that was there and had been there, and pulling up, these roots that had been there for a long time. And so knowing that when we are planting new seeds, things like technological glitches or things might not go as smoothly, but we're pulling up all of these barriers that might have stopped us in the past of, oh, maybe I'm not just maybe technology is not my thing, or maybe I shouldn't be doing anything virtual, right? Like all these things that might have paused us, or like, oh, maybe that isn't the right place, but it is. So realizing that all of these seeds that we're planting might not instantaneously take hold, because they have to grow through some tough dirt or clay or all this kind of stuff. So know that it's okay to have a garden like mine did last year that got overtaken by cucumbers, And that's all that's all that grew, you know.
Well, and I started to get that, like after the first workshop, there was some glitches, and we couldn't really hear Danielle, um, and she had said when she was done to go ahead and take over, and I didn't hear her say that. So I let them sit there for 10 minutes in silence. And she was like, "Are you okay? Is she freaking out?" And I thought she was still doing something. And I was just like, should I go now? And she, and so it put that doubt. And I'm like, okay, no,
Right.
don't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And
So
if you're doing a workshop, like I'm realizing I invested in a microphone before for the GoPro, but I'm realizing I'm probably going to have to get one of those really dumb looking headsets with a microphone, because in all reality, there's too much going on always where I am, and I like to do it outside, so I need to get something. So it's a learning curve, and I've been doing these for 6 years now. So it's as you start getting more awareness, and so that's why I try to share everything that I had to go through and just get it right away. So getting a headset with a microphone and having you and Danielle both have these on, that way it's really clear. At least the information that you're teaching is really heard in the videos. Whether everybody else is mic'd up or not, it usually doesn't matter. But as long as you guys have something hooked up into a laptop or an iPad or something, that way the clarity is there. That makes a big difference.
yeah, and I could tell it made a difference.
Right.
When they said, I asked, after we did it, and I asked them, to talk about what their experience was. And they said the first thing two of them said was, I couldn't really hear Danielle.
Right.
And so it made it okay, a learning curve. I got this. Next time it'll be different. And then if
Right.
something comes up, I'll deal with that as well. So
And
I'm just trying.
she's doing yoga, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I would really recommend, I just got like a really long lapel that it plugs right into the earphone jack. And that way she can be heard very clearly while she's moving, but it's right here on her shirt versus like
Yeah.
a headset. So for you, having the headset with the speaker would probably be the best way to go about it, because you really need to be heard very
The
clearly.
connection, the communication between us
Correct.
was not as solid as it could be.
Right. Right.
So yeah, we're
And
gonna fix
so,
that.
yeah, and I think I don't feel like that was as big of a deal 4 years ago. I used to use Zoom. I mean, I've been using Zoom for years, and the audio and the clarity of the calls have always been there. Yet something is happening in technology that we now have to use all of these mics and microphones and headsets, and who knows if it's just there's so many more people on the server that the communication is not as clear. But whatever it is, just going and
Well, it's
investing.
also storming, so that didn't help as well.
Right. Right. So sometimes just investing the, $20, $30, $40 into something right away, that way that whole aspect just gets solved.
I'm gonna get a headset.
Yeah.
That is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much, I'm ordering mine on Monday as well, because it's just time. We've got to kind of keep up with everything that's happening and going on. So, workshops, that's fantastic. And so you're still going to be doing your one-on-ones, but you've already cut that way back.
Yes, I still work with everybody. I just don't. I do it about everybody about a month and a half.
Okay.
And so I'm only working like 3-4 days a week instead of 7 days a week, 5 different people.
Okay.
So I'm only doing 1 or 2 a day, a day, and it's only 3 or 4 days a week. So yeah, I cut back from like 30 sessions a week to maybe 10.
Yeah. So I would love to brainstorm a little bit and create a ritual for spring equinox. So I would love to kind of pull out some elements that feel really yummy to you. And then I'll add some elements, and then I'll post this in the Facebook group, and hopefully we can get all the women to add some little elements to create like a really amazing, intentional spring equinox ritual that we can all do next week, kind of together, yet in all of our various parts of the world.
Yes.
So I think this is going to be really fun. So we've got, so for me, the eostre aspect of it, that transformation, that winter to spring, that that aspect that we don't necessarily have to stay in the same form. We don't have to stay in the same, like we don't have to express or even represent ourselves in the same way that we always do. And spring equinox is kind of that reminder for me, that we can change from bird to rabbit. You know, like we can, if things aren't going, or if we need to transform and shift, spring equinox is the perfect time to do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I would like to have I don't know any rituals. So I would like to, I guess my next step is learning the rituals.
Yeah. And so for me, rituals are just intentional habits. So so for me, having the magical mothering womb bath every week and having it very intentional, where I would smudge and then light the candles and set the crystals and do it all had a very clear intention, and each thing had a purpose. And it was something that I did regularly. And so even though this ritual might be only done once a year, it's still something that you integrate and do once a year. And it becomes very meaningful and very heartfelt and very intentional. And so for you, connecting and sharing energy with the trees.
Mm. Yes.
And doing a tree energy exchange.
I can feel it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something else that I love to do is I love to get wooden eggs, simply because you can kind of keep them around a little bit longer and have them to use them rather than plastic eggs or things like that. And I like to get wooden eggs, and I like to watercolor pictures onto them. And so this could be a very wonderful, this could be like a vision board. This could be actually watercoloring or painting or drawing on the eggs, visions that you have for the year or that you want to renew every year. Having an egg for each aspect, maybe family or business or relationship. Anything like that would be really powerful too.
Okay, somebody sent me for Christmas a box, and she decorated the outer box and left the inner box that the middle part actually comes out and has a butterfly on it. I can take that and I can put, draw whatever I want onto that, and then I can put my good intentions on a piece of paper or something and put it in there.
Right. And those visions, and use it as like a vision box.
There you go. Yes. Okay. I got it.
Yeah. That is having a vision, instead of a vision board, having some sort of pieces of paper,
or bay leaves or.
Yeah. Placed into something that you then pull them out at autumn equinox and see what has transpired over the past year.
Okay. I like that. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. And then, and so we'll kind of just start with this, and I'll put this video out there, and that way people can kind of get excited about adding to this. And I'm excited to hear what other people have to input, and we can create just this really amazing magical ritual that is a collaboration.
I'm excited now to decorate and put that in there. Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Oh my goodness. Yay. Okay. Well, I'm going to let you go then so that you can make sure to get to do what you're going to get to do. And then I will upload this video and hopefully some more people will collaborate and create some space for this to happen. So
Yep, that's what I'm doing next week.
awesome.
I'm going to work on my videos and I'm going to work on my box.
Awesome. And get headset.
And get a headset. Yes, that's a must.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
All right. Love you, babe. Mwah. Bye.